Obviously, we like to joke around on this channel quite a bit. And normally that's a good thing. People say the world needs laughter more than ever. But we just saw something on the internet that has us feeling a little concerned about what we're doing here. And by the way, if you haven't kept up with the nitty-gritty details of what's been going on around here over the past month, well, sadly, we've endured a heavy, heavy loss after some dedicated acolytes located and abducted one of our staff members after he made fun of their podcast daddy, Joe Rogan. They did not like that video we did about Joe's special not being very good, and yeah, sadly, they managed to find out where he was living in the woods up in northern Canada in a little shack there. Well, technically, according to Canada law, it would be classified as a shed, but I guess they drove up there and captured our guy and dragged him out into a deep woodland and left him to die from exposure. It's real cold up there these days, and I mean, this was a couple of weeks ago now, so he's definitely toast. We did send a search party up there to look for him, but yeah, there was no trace of him, no trail to follow, nothing. So, unfortunately, you won't be hearing from him anymore because he's expired and gone to meet that maker. He's likely already all chewed up by the bears and the wolverines and whatever else is crawling around in that accursed woodland. This isn't a sad thing. He's returning to nature. And it's wonderful. Farewell, my poor dead friend. And we bless the cosmic gardener for maintaining his crop. Love ya. That was just a little update for you. But that's not what this video is about. To be honest, I really didn't want to do another video about this guy, but this is just so bizarre that we felt it would be in everybody's best interest to get a little cerebral and examine it. It's about our old pal David Lucas, who we've discussed here a couple of times now. So sorry about that, but David just appeared on this show here. It's hosted by a 17-year-old provocateur guy called Matan Even. 17, just a kid. Matan's shtick is all about seeing how their targets react to whatever he throws at them.
Have you ever slept with a man?
Okay. I'm done.
Done?
Yeah.
It can tell you a lot about a person, the way they respond to being poked by these types of guys.
Could you tell me where you're going anyways, even though it's not my business?
No, I'm not going to tell you. It's because none of your damn business.
You're going to the Parliament buildings?
Bullshit to you. No, I'm not going to the Parliament buildings.
I'm actually...
Do I ask you where you're going? Answer my question. Where the hell are you going? Answer my
Hey, I would suggest that you don't. Oh, shit. No.
Hey, wait. You like Thai food?
I'm out this bitch.
No, you like TI food? You get it? Like Thai food?
Yeah.
We love landlords.
Oh, there he
We're
is.
all against unions. We're here to protest against the landlords and the unions. We love them.
We love landlords.
We love landlords. We love them a lot. We're all against unions. They're not fair to the corporate companies. This is a crazy protest.
Dumbass parents, obviously, didn't smack him around enough when he was fucking born and bred. I do believe in hitting children.
We love landlords. We love landlords. We love them. We love landlords.
We literally got on this one broadcast. Bro, it was the weirdest broadcast ever.
The kid was an asshole, and he was like 16. His name is Matan Even. He kept asking like personal questions that like it was too personal for the podcast.
You think it's a bit weird that some of your audience watching, you know, some of that explicit videos might just be little kids who found some of your other videos funny on Instagram?
He wouldn't let up. He kept asking the same question over and over.
Sound of drums, people couldn't believe what I'd become.
They got more fucking stupid listening to this shit.
Are you telling me this Matan fucker was trolling you?
Yeah, dude.
Well, anyway, this guy just had retired roaster/comedian David Lucas on as a guest. And now, I don't know if something's going on with David, but he acted incredibly strange during this entire thing. I mean, you have to take a look at this for yourself.
David Lucas, welcome in. How you doing?
Right off the bat, he's come in equipped with this self-soothing stress ball device, so you know he's pretty nervous about the situation and what's to come.
What is that?
It's a little stress ball, bro. I just like it.
Oh, that's not allowed.
Yeah, it is.
He's carrying around a lot of stress. And I don't know if it's because our video critiquing his special has almost as many views as the special itself. Whoopsies. Whatever it is, bringing this level of unease to an interview with a guy like this is a recipe for disaster. Because like I said, this type of guy can really reveal things about the targets of their jokes. Because it can be very challenging for the ego to handle, especially for those burdened with a double-digit IQ. And how does he react? Well, David responds to the first bit of surreal humor here by letting everyone in the room know that he's armed with a gun.
Yeah, I'm glad I brought my pistol.
Whoa.
You have a pistol with
Hell yeah, nigga.
Matan then brings up the topic of David's controversial George Floyd joke, brilliantly poking David right in a weak spot by asking him,
why would you make the joke about George Floyd when you have no idea how it can affect the black community?
Now, I think most people would recognize that this is an obvious little bit of playful troll work here, but not David. And this marks the first of 3 major ego cracks that we're going to witness in this interview. He snaps.
You have no idea how it can affect the black community.
Because I wanted to.
But what?
Because I wanted to.
But you don't know how it could affect black people.
Who gives a fuck?
But black people.
I wanted to do it.
But you don't know if it will offend them.
I wanted to do it.
But you're
well,
offending.
Let me offend them.
But it's
I offend white people too. Now what? I'll offend your ass too.
Yeah, but you're allowed to offend white
I'll
people.
offend your ass
but
too.
Black people, it's off the table.
What's happening?
What is this?
I guess this incident still really bothers David because he becomes incredibly defensive about it, aggressively getting in the face of Matan, trying to intimidate him and bully him into submission. But it doesn't even do anything. Despite being 4 times smaller than David, Matan remains unbothered.
What is this?
Which only makes this initial ego blow more severe. And if you want to suggest that this is just a bit, then David should honestly be one of Hollywood's top actors. And he's not, so it can't be a bit. You can't argue with Occam's razor, guys.
No, nigga, I mean now. Listen, I got things I need to do. Man, fuck that. I'm tired of check cashing places calling me all the damn time.
This is simply not the same caliber of performance.
Man, for that one time, now I got 4 different check cashing places calling me all the damn time.
And this officially confirms that what we just saw was indeed real. He was not doing a bit. I just can't figure out why he's carrying all this emotional baggage about the George Floyd joke. He says he'll offend anybody, that he doesn't care. But when he goes on podcasts, he brings a lawyer in tow who he has to get clearance from to make sure his jokes aren't too scary.
You know, I'll never get along with David Lucas.
You won't get along with him, why not?
He did our podcast and he just said the dumbest shit ever.
What did he say?
He said that, 8 out of 10 women come when they are
Uh-oh.
Me and Ian just lost our minds. We just roasted the shit out of him. And then he made us delete. He was like, yo, I talked to my lawyer and he said we shouldn't actually put that part in. And we were just like, then we're deleting the whole thing because that was the only funny part. Because he just sits there and says nothing.
This duality of David, it's just impossible to make sense of it. For us and for him. Calling yourself uncancelable and then apologizing.
Just want to apologize.
Championing free speech. Then getting offended about a bit. Maintaining this persona has to be exhausting. And so he walks around all day, desperately squeezing that stress ball, trying to balance these 2 completely irreconcilable aspects of his life. But it's impossible, so he's stuck. And deep down he knows it. Oh God, you know what I'm gonna say, don't you? Oh, that's bad. It is then revealed that David and his manager were made to think that they would receive $10,000 for this appearance. Matan then breaks the news that this was in fact a lie.
You told me 10,000 in the text message, bro.
David responds by sticking his hand into his own ass region, a vile crevasse. He then shoves that juiced up ass hand into the face of this guy without consent, forcing him to partake in a whiff of his noxious butt stink. Forced to inhale the sweaty fecal vapors, which David finds absolutely hilarious. David then aggressively demands that Matan remove his clothing so that he can find out what he smells like.
I don't know, let's smell up under that jacket. Take that jacket off.
Demonstrating some of his cerebral comedy, David makes a brilliant guess that underneath his clothing, Matan is probably naked.
You probably naked up under that bitch, let's see.
Upon being denied consent, he then attempts to remove Matan's shirt, forcing Matan to physically protect himself.
No, it's not allowed.
But Matan is ready to strike back. He then asks David if he's related to YouTuber EDP445, aka Brian Moreland, an allegedly notorious content creator and an alleged predator who was allegedly caught trying to lure allegedly underage girls. Allegedly.
Are you related to EDP445?
Yeah.
You are related to him?
Yeah.
Because I actually...
Who is that?
Back in 2020, Moreland's alleged sickening text messages were exposed by a YouTuber who had been acting as an underage decoy, which Moreland fell for.
How about you call the cops?
You call the cops. You want help? Call the cops.
You should call the
Whoopsie.
cops. Go ahead.
Moreland's response to this incriminating evidence was to post this bizarre video in which he eats loads of chicken and brags about having a gun.
Yeah, I'm glad I brought my pistol.
But David had never heard of any of this, so he had no idea where Matan was going with it. Ready to make another lethal strike, Matan then shows David a photo of this EDP guy.
That's when he got caught on a predator catch.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he's a
Good.
predator.
They should beat his ass.
What about you?
I don't do shit like that. I got kids.
By revealing how much this question bothered him, David makes a brutal mistake. Matan is going to sit on that intel for a moment and use it in a devastating attack, causing David's second ego crack.
You got a dragon in your garage.
I can't even be a predator if that's what you're alluding to.
No, Game of Thrones. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
Because I thought you were trying to...
You on some weird
I
shit.
told you a predator.
I'm not a predator.
Oh, for sure?
Skip the question, bro. We ain't even finna entertain that bullshit you talking about.
So David just got done saying he'd offend anyone. But the first and only guy to get offended in this interview is David himself. David Lucas, the uncancelable, the I'll offend everyone guy, just got majorly offended by this joke. This is what I call a bad look. And he stops Matan in his tracks, demanding that he not say such a thing.
I'm not a predator.
Which is odd, given David's philosophy on comedy and free speech.
Who are we as the gatekeepers to say when a joke goes too far? Is it because I'm not famous? It's all in the name of laughter, all in the name of free speech.
But when the ego gets cracked this badly, the mind loses its grip on rationality. And over time, these jabs cause immense damage to the mind. It's a psychic form of CTE.
Skip the question, bro. We ain't even finna entertain that bullshit you talking about right now, because I got children, and that's a very sensitive topic.
I'm an advocate for free speech. The great Patrice O'Neal said that a funny joke and a bad joke come from the same place. So that was my attempt at comedy. It was to get shock value. I'm a troll.
Skip the question, bro. We ain't even finna entertain that bullshit you talking about right now.
Again, this is a bad look. But then luckily for David, the backdrop suddenly falls down, providing a wonderful distraction to this tense situation. But for some reason, he just doesn't take advantage of it. And when this guy gets up on a chair to fix the backdrop, David's eyes lock onto his ass like a heat-seeking missile.
Yeah, look at that booty.
He then begins laughing maniacally as his ego is rapidly losing its composure on account of those two big cracks it's now sustained. David then turns to one of the most popular copes of the day, the phone hand. It's something we all do when we don't know what to do with our eyes or our face or our hands. We reach into our pocket and pull out that phone. You stare at it and pretend something important is going on, and you avoid having to even think about the real world. It's the easiest way to opt out of any social expectations. You just slip away into an alternate dimension where real life doesn't matter, and you can relieve yourself of this problem you have with trying to act like a normal guy. But David is so bamboozled already that he can't even manage the phone hand cope, and he just starts juggling these two phones around like it's a circus act, erratically scrolling through them in silence, for no reason. He puts the phone down eventually, but is unable to resist the sweet relief of that phone hand cope. And within seconds, he's back to it, connecting again to the serenity found in that alternate dimension, thanks to our wonderful modern technology. Now, despite how strange this whole encounter has been thus far, what happens next is truly unexplainable. Matan makes a joke about David's manager who's just off camera, to which he responds with this. David then makes this shocking remark out of nowhere, suggesting that not only does he have a gun in his bag, he also has some sort of sex toy.
Oh yeah, the sex toy?
Excuse me?
Yeah, I got. We're about to have some fun.
Sex toy?
We're about to have some fun.
I mean, I can't believe what we're watching here. Can you? Now, out of curiosity and a moral obligation to perform proper journalism, we began an investigation into what this David Lucas sex toy could possibly be about. And right away, we discovered that a simple Google search leads you to this. The 11-inch king cock flesh-toned squirting cock with balls, for which Someone by the name of David Lucas has left a glowing review. Ope. Looks like it's back to that phone hand, Cope. Oh, that's bad. But actually, it's not what you think, because David then turns the phone to show Matan an image of something.
What do you think about this?
Why are you showing me that? That's extremely weird. Show that to him.
So what did David show Matan here?
That's the best of both worlds.
We can't know for certain, but we can examine the evidence before us and make an educated triple-digit IQ hypothesis. Based on David's comment, it seems that he is showing him some type of a sexually explicit image, depicting a trans person.
That's the best of both worlds.
Moments later, he does it again, and Matan confirms that indeed he's being forced to view sexual imagery.
What is this? You keep showing me like images.
But believe it or not, this situation doesn't stop there. It just keeps escalating.
You on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok. I have an account.
You ever did Grindr?
And it's just in time for the third mind crack to occur. David tries to get out of this horrendous hole he's dug for himself by changing his attitude and trying to riff on some jokes, making fun of the set.
I feel like y'all can spend some more money on the fucking
This is an
set.
awesome set.
But Matan is unfazed, and he effortlessly returns fire.
You have a podcast, right?
I got a couple.
Yeah, but yours even less money on the set. You just film in the lake.
In the lake.
Well, that's 3 major cracks, and David's ego is now completely in meltdown mode. With no moves left, David downgrades from his usual middle school level jokes to something you'd expect from an attention-starved brat in grade 2.
In the lake.
With the fishing?
The fishing?
Correct.
Correct.
250?
Oh.
250. With the ego overwhelmed and spiraling, David begins regressing as his id, the ancient primitive part of his brain, is finally allowed to take control. He throws a tantrum and begins destroying the set.
I'm about to fart in this nigga face.
Spilling drinks all over the place.
Why?
Aggressively posturing toward Matan, who again is just a boy of 17 years.
Sit down.
Put it down. Put it down.
Sit down.
Alternating between laughing like a lunatic assaulting this boy.
Scratch the ass so you can smell it. I'm gonna slap it in your face, bro.
Whatever this is.
Get real nice and close like we're in prison. Sit that little pale booty down.
Cheap, like 20.
Kinda cute.
Me? You're saying this?
Little earring. You're older than 17.
I promise I'm 17.
Let me see.
Watch out. Don't touch me, man. What are you doing?
Let me rub your back. Let me rub your back.
You're touching on my man.
And staring off into space. Before smashing a cinder block through a table. I don't know if this is David's attempt at pulling off something like what Sam Hyde did a few months ago on this show when he caused chaos by bringing all these Indian guys onto the set. But if it is, then I just don't know if it worked.
My jokes are very cerebral. So if you come to my show, I might say a lot of crazy shit, but on your drive home, you're gonna be thinking a lot.
I forgot about the cerebral.
I'm a very calculated and very cerebral person.
I mean, well, maybe it did work, actually. It's possible we have him all wrong, guys, because I walked away from this interview incredibly disturbed, just haunted by the experience, and definitely thanking a lot. Is this what David intended? And if so, what does it say about me to have this reaction to it?
That's all I'm fighting for, free speech. When I'm on that stage, I'm the court jester. Yeah. I'm there to dictate your emotions. I'm a dictator at that point. That's all we're fighting for is free speech. That's all we want. All as comedians, that's all we want. We want the opportunity to try to be funny. Whether it's funny or not is left up to the reception of the audience. That's all we're asking for. It's not that hard. When you're watching a comedian on stage, turn your emotional ears off. I do.
Dude, you a predator.
I'm not a predator.
No, for sure?
Skip the question, bro. We ain't even finna entertain that bullshit you talking about right now.
Well, like I said, I certainly am thinking a lot. I'm thinking about how weird it is that this guy gets compared to Patrice O'Neal. I just don't understand. I don't know if people are aware that Patrice was more than just a fat black guy, because that's pretty much where any similarity between them ends. Patrice was quick, he had jokes, he could tell stories, he could decimate a heckler. Maybe he sucks, I don't know, whatever, he was functional. Is that too much to expect?
You two do nothing but ruin everybody's good fucking time. Nobody likes you, even though you're quite lovely, but it's like you're more annoying than you're gorgeous.
That is a far cry from this.
Man, come on stage, nigga. Like,
Ain't no room.
he's scary. That's his last heckle. The next one get him kicked out if he don't come on stage.
I'm afraid that Harland Williams really broke this guy. Because now, to avoid being embarrassed on stage, David has begun resorting to roasting people that aren't even there to roast him back. He went in on this comedian Jacob Barr during a recent Kill Tony show, making jokes about his disability, but not before making sure that Jacob was off stage and unable to respond.
When you birth a child with no asshole and fucking pterodactyl arms, you supposed to put that nigga on the grill. He ain't even supposed to live. Bro, he's not a productive member to society.
Well, this joke did not go over well with the Kill Tony crowd, and now David's losing whatever fans he's got left. And while Jacob wasn't afforded the opportunity to respond to David during that episode, he completely destroyed him online.
Here's 5 things I can do that David Lucas can. Let's start off the day with some light jumping. Let's try writing jokes in a joke notebook. Finally, let's take some comfortable deep breaths and take in the fact that I will live longer than him by 25 years.
He is losing it, man. And I'm sure it doesn't help David stress that our critique of his special now has more views than the special itself. I'm sorry about that, my guy. So it goes, so it goes. I can't stop thinking about all of it. And it's David who's making me do all that thinking. And in my opinion, that is the definition of a true artist. So thank you, David. I get it now. You're a genius. And to everyone upset in the comments on the last video saying it was mean to say those things about David.
Yeah, some people say it's mean, but I think that roasting is lighthearted, even if I call you a bitch or ugly or some other derogatory word, you know what I'm saying?
All right, thanks for watching our David Lucas trilogy. What does it all mean? I don't know. But I pray to never have to do a thing about this guy ever again. And I shouldn't have to, because now that David's been caught, next comes his sentencing, and this will be his worst nightmare come to life. Being demoted to a civilian. The ultimate comedy punishment. Sorry, David, you gotta get a stupid job like the rest of us now. So please keep us posted daily, David, on what you've done to get that job each and every day. So yeah, thanks again. And as always, sorry for everything.